My question is the FD7 BGI, a Chinese built advanced variant of the Chengdu J7, was delivered to 2023 and 2022 refurbished. My question is why so old aircraft is in the training materials in Bangladesh Air Force so far. The world believes Bangladesh Air Force, Bangladesh military and Bangladesh Navy are the finest disciplined forces in the world. That's why they have got a lot of demand from United Nations peacekeeping. Very humble question, sir.
Right. No, United Nations peacekeeping mission are a different thing because United Nations peacekeeping missions, they operate under different charters, Charter 7 and 8, and they have different mandates, different targets. They don't fly fighter aircrafts for combating the militias or whatever the purpose of the mission is. The main purpose is to stabilize the countries the mission is in. For that, the requirement is transport aircraft and helicopters, not fighter aircrafts. And Bangladesh Air Force is also one of the Bangladesh Armed Forces is one of, not only armed forces, police is also there. So Bangladesh is one of the highest contributors in United Nations, and also Bangladesh Air Force has got their Mi-17s and C-130 deployed for UN peacekeeping missions. That's a different topic. Now, it cannot be matched with the combat capacity of Bangladesh Air Force. That's another purpose. You have to maintain the integrity and sovereignty of your own country, as well as when United Nations asks for your help, you need to be deployed in another country to help United Nations. That's another purpose. Now, for the country's sovereignty and integrity, the geopolitical integrity itself, you need the combat aircraft, you also need helicopters for different purposes, you also need transport aircraft for different purposes. And we have US aircrafts, we have European aircrafts, we have Chinese aircrafts, we have Russian aircrafts. Now, the J7 aircraft, it has a long manufacturing history. Many people say that it is designed in 1960s. Yes, it was first, but the current version that we see, the F7 BGI, which you said, in China it is called J7I. Similarly, in the United States also, or even any big countries also, they have different variants. F16 has different variants. F14 had different variants, and they evolve over time. When we had our first J7 in the 1990s, that was inherited from MiG-21, but Bangladesh Air Force has already phased out that aircraft. We don't fly that one. Then we got another upgraded version of J7, J7E, that we got in 2006. And the latest version, that is F7 BGI, in China they call it J7I, that is much more advanced variant of the J7E. We got it in 2013. So it's not that the aircraft is old. The technology is, of course, very latest one. And in aviation, it is said it's not always about the machine. It depends on the man behind the machine. Recent India-Pakistan conflict and everywhere we saw that aircraft does not matter to some extent. When it was between J-10 and Rafale versus Rafale, the whole world already saw what J-10 is capable of against Rafale. That is J-10, and we are talking about J-7. J-7, when J-7 was being produced in China, at that time they also were operating J-10, and they were selling J-10, different variant. And J-10 is also upgrading. They have J-16, J-35 with advanced capabilities. Now we will ask why J-7. Firstly, because our economic situation, the whole country's economical condition, we cannot afford Rafale, for instance. And then there will be questions like, should a country of Bangladesh size and our airspace limitations, should we go for a $1 billion aircraft fleet that to maintain itself is more expensive?
Yes.
Should we do that? Do we have active military threat? we have to question so many things. And as I said earlier, that our defensive posture is by constitution defensive. We need to defend our space, airspace and the land space and the maritime border. So what aircraft serves the purpose best? And throughout time, J7 or F7, they have been proven very good as interceptor. F7 main purpose is interceptor. You intercept other aircrafts. In time, in future, depending on how Pakistan has evolved, because of their inherent enmity with India, they have a strategic purpose, and they know that every child being born in Pakistan today, they know they are at war with India, whatever the situation is. But for Bangladesh, we are not in that position. And so we never think that we need, say, F-16 or F-35, because we are not at war with anybody. Air Force and civil aviation, they always has this practice. Now, this practice, military uniform personnel, they have this practice. They can do that. Problem was because the aircraft crashed in a civil area. And by nature, our people, because it is sad that it was in a school where there are kids, and they kept running, and parents waiting for the kids, they all panicked, they all started running. Now, this is something we can say that the crowd was indisciplined, the crowd. If I were there, what I would have done, I don't know. Because I was not there, I can sit here and I can say that people should not crowd that much. But at that moment, but as you said, that people not helping and taking photos, that is something we don't want. Everybody there should be helping. And we all understand that anything like that in the civil area, it happens, there will be panic. And law enforcement agencies, they always rush to the spot, but they are always outnumbered by the civilian. Because in the among the whole country's population, only about 1 to 2% people are the total armed forces. And on that side, there will be more civilian than the military.
Yeah,
so
this is a very common picture we see.
It will happen everywhere, but it does not happen to countries where there is compulsory military training.
Right, sir.
That we have government bodies like Rajuk, and they have the DAP, Detailed Area Plan. Last, it was gazetted in 2022, and then because you have hit the points for which, like finding the faults of the aviation and others, what went wrong, it was revised by force from rehab that in 2022, that DAP, in total Uttara, the highest allowed floor size was up to floor 6. But then rehab protested it, they wanted more floor area ratio, and then it was in 2023, it was allowed up to 10 floors in Uttara, the whole Uttara. Then around the aerodrome airfield, there is also, Civil Aviation Authority has also a rule, obstacle surface limit. They have up to what distance, what height you can achieve. Now, if you, and there is also some, around the airfield, the land use, there are two types of usage. You can do it, you can use it, but not for schools. According to any law in the world, also in Bangladesh, there cannot be any school in the landing trajectory or takeoff trajectory in around the airfield. But accidentally, however it happened, Milestone School falls just in the along the landing trajectory, little right of it, but it falls there.
Right.
And from the media, I saw that they had up to 10 to 12 floor building there.
Yes.
So of course, as you say, investigation is going to happen. We need to look at whether that 10 to 12 floor building violates the DAP or the civil aviation violation.
Yes, sir.